Wouldn't it be nice to hire salespeople and have them stay in your organization, productive, meeting sales targets, understanding your culture, running with your vision, and of course, like I said, staying in your organization for a long period of time? If you want that to happen, I'm going to show you how in today's video. My name is Yoro Big. We have trained over 25,000 salespeople across 5 countries: Nigeria, Ghana, USA, UAE, Rwanda. I'm an author of several books and resources on sales, and I've been featured on a lot of media platforms to talk about successful selling. My career started when I was to sell to high net worth individuals. I was given a target to sell to 20 HNIs, and in a month I was able to bring in 21 high net worth individuals. I also participated in a sales competition where I won, and I was sent for the World Cup for an all-expense paid trip. I moved to another organization where I was able to double my portfolio by over 100% in just 11 months. Currently, I'm CEO for Ultravantage, and our specialty is in sales force management. This means I work with sales teams in various industries to help them optimize sales, help them meet their sales targets in record time. All right, so today's video, we're going to be looking at the essential steps for onboarding and training new sales teams or new sales talents. If you look at our logo in our organization, it's called Ultravantage, meaning sales culture transformation. That's the subline for our logo. Sales culture transformation. And we say sales culture transformation because, you see, we show you how to sell. That's not just enough. Culture, we show you how to establish the culture. And you establish the culture through leadership, through sales leadership. And when you establish the culture, then we show you how to get tremendous results. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the key things that makes salespeople stay when you hire them, that make them catch the vision, run with the vision very quickly, is an effective and thorough onboarding plan. Thorough onboarding. If you don't see, the beginning of a thing, a lot of times, always affects the end of the thing, a lot of times. In this kind of scenario, it affects your clients or it affects your salespeople. Imagine a salesperson who comes into an organization, comes with their culture from their previous organization. Culture meaning their way of life, how they work, their attitude, their mannerisms, the kind of metrics that they are used to be judged, or they used to judge them in the past. They come into your organization and they want to run with your new vision, your new metrics. They don't yet know why this new metrics is important to the vision. They don't even know the vision yet. Are you aware that the vision of an organization is so powerful? Why? Because if you see a company, a full building, you see structures, you see systems, all those things didn't exist before the vision. It was when the vision was born in the heart of the founder that those things were now created. If the vision of a man can create high-rise buildings, can create cars for staff to go around, printers, create all these things you see in an organization, if the vision of a man can do that, what will happen if that vision enters the heart of an employee? It means that that person would have intrinsic motivation. So I'm showing you now that the onboarding is so critical and so key to ensuring that you have salespeople that are established and can hit the ground running. The other day, one of our clients called me, and we had just finished a contract with them. This was about a year ago. We had finished the contract. So she calls me and she says she's having issues with this particular staff. And this particular staff in question, we have an onboarding toolkit for salespeople. We made it available to the company. The company had already paid for it. But for some reason, this particular COO for this organization did not make available or did not ensure that the staff followed the due process of making sure that her onboarding was completed before she started going out to sell. She just went ahead and allowed her to start selling. Ladies and gentlemen, for months, the lady could not close any sale. Yet her team members, they were already closing sales because they had gone through a thorough onboarding process. But this manager or this leader who they brought into the company, for whatever reason, HR didn't do what they were supposed to do. Whoever was in charge didn't do what they were supposed to do. Onboarding wasn't done for her. She struggled. So you don't want your staff to struggle. And that's why we're going to look at why is onboarding necessary. I've already spoken about that right now. Why onboarding is necessary. We're going to look at how long should an effective onboarding program be. Then we'll look at what are the components of an effective onboarding program or plan. Now, why onboarding? Like I said earlier, I'm not going to read out a few things in my notes here. First of all, it reduces time for the staff to hit the ground running. People can get to the organization and immediately start to produce results if the onboarding is right. It improves job satisfaction as well. This means that the person will feel like they are well equipped, they have everything they require to succeed. They won't have any questions that are yet to be answered. Number 3, it increases your retention rates. Number 4, it enhances performance because all the skills will be laid out to them. All the trainings, the role plays, everything that they need to do well will be done. Then it boosts sales performance as well, right? Not only enhances performance in terms of how they can navigate and work within a culture, work within a team, it makes it possible for them to sell at a high level. It will save you time and energy as an employer. Because if you don't onboard properly, you would know that at the end of the day, you probably have to start the entire process all over again. Then to create a positive company culture as well. This would mean that, hey, they would be familiar with the culture of the organization and feel comfortable with the organization. Now, to this next segment, how long should an effective onboarding program be? How long should it be? Should it be for a year? Should it be for 3 months? Should it be for 6 months? Ideally, there are many factors we'll look at for an onboarding program. We'll look at the company size and complexity of the company or of the product that's being sold. For example, you can't compare the onboarding program for a tech company or an IT firm. Somebody who sells, or somebody who's in tech sales, who sells IT solutions, complex products. You can't compare the onboarding for that kind of person with somebody who probably sells real estate, right? Because the two products are different, right? IT has multiple layers of decision making. The key decision makers in an IT company, you have to be able to know how to navigate and plug all the products or services into those conversations with those people. So it's a totally different ballgame, just as an example. So you also factor the company size and complexity of the product. You factor the job roles and responsibilities, which is sales, of course. You factor the industry and regulatory requirements. Some organizations have regulatory requirements that must be followed before somebody can start to sell. For example, I worked in an organization where we were supposed to write a particular exam and pass that exam before we could start selling the products. Then the prior experience and knowledge of the new hire. If you're hiring entry level, the onboarding program will be different from if you're hiring experienced people. So there are many factors you'd consider. Now, on a general note, the minimum time you should give for onboarding, minimum time is 60 days. That means 2 months. 2 months for a sales team. Why 2 months? I know some people say things like, 2 months not long. Can't we do it in 3 weeks? Can't we do it in 2 weeks? Well, if you want to do it shorter than that, maybe for whatever reason you have, budget constraints and so on, when I go into the next segment now, and I list out for you the things that should be in an onboarding plan, just make sure that these things, they are plugged into whatever timing you have. Because, when we talk like this and we tell people minimum time this period, maximum time this period, there are people who nevertheless will still do it in the way they want to do it. So I'm just saying, if, for example, you decide to do your onboarding for 1 day or 2 days, just make sure that everything I'm going to list out for you is stated within that framework you choose. But my recommendation to you is you have it for at least 2 months, 60 days. At least 60 days. Then in some organization, they can even have their onboarding for 6 months to 12 months if the product is complex or depending on the kind of solution that's being sold. Now, let's look at the final part of this training session, the components of an effective onboarding program or plan. An effective onboarding program or plan must have these components. If these components are not present, the person hasn't been fully onboarded yet. The first one, they must understand the company's vision and mission. Anybody who doesn't know the vision and mission of the organization, see, some people take these things for granted. They say things like, what's the vision? It's not just that thing that's put on the wall there. There's no need for them to learn it. They feel like, well, let's just go straight and talk about the meat of the issue. Let's not bother ourselves with that. If you miss this part, you'll be putting the cart before the horse. As the founder of this business or as the owner of this business, note that there is something driving you to succeed. You may say things like, I just want to make money. That's all. That desire you had to just make money is actually the vision. And whatever it is that you have written somewhere, Hopefully, if that vision is achieved, you will make money. So you may not go and tell them our vision here is to just make money, right? Because people want to be able to do something for a bigger cause, not just for themselves. A vision should not only look at catering for your needs or services, it should also look at catering for the needs of others and being a blessing to other people. Now, these vision and mission statements should be memorized by the organization, because that is where confidence in the brand comes from. That is where trust comes from. That is where intrinsic motivation comes from. We tell a lot of organizations, we tell them, how can you get your people motivated? If you give people more money, I know what I'm about to say right now can be a little controversial, but it's the truth. If you give people more money and they were not motivated initially, they can't do more. But if people were initially motivated and you give them more money, meaning you increase salary or give them more money in whatever form, they will do a lot more. So you see, increased pay doesn't help a demotivated person. Increased pay only helps a motivated person. What am I trying to say to you? Motivation must be intrinsic, it must come from within. And it can only come from within when there is a vision in the heart of the person. If a regular person you just meet off the street may not have a personal vision for themselves. But as an organization, it is your role, or as a sales manager or a team lead, it's your role to put that vision in the hearts of your people. And how do we do that? Making them recite it, making them memorize it. The things we did at the foundation in school, when we were in assembly line and assembly ground, we used to call it, right? And you sang the national anthem, you recited the pledge, you recited the school's anthem, you recited all those things we were doing then. Those things were done to us right now to build in us a patriotic spirit, to build in us a consciousness of who we are or what our school stands for. Although I'm aware that yes, a lot of people turn out differently for many reasons, right? For example, maybe somebody says, "But we're reciting national anthem. How come we don't have a patriotic spirit?" Because there are many other factors that were influencing many people in our country. However, if in an organization which is much smaller and the factors and conditions can be controlled, you can have a lot of people start to feel very motivated and start to run with your vision in a radical way or in a more productive way. Radical may be extreme, a more productive way. So what am I trying to say? Drive the vision home. In fact, when you even have sales meetings, part of what you should discuss is, okay, what's our vision? What's our mission? I worked at an organization where they brought a new MD to work in this company. And this MD set an audacious goal. He wanted to move our organization to be among the top 5 in 7 years and to be number 1 in 3 years. Sorry, do you remember? Top 7 in 3 years and be number 1 in 5 years. That was the plan he had. And he communicated it every time we had stakeholder meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from that, he also reminded us about the vision. He rewrote the vision of the organization. And it was brought into our offices. Personally, I memorized it because we were always asked about what the vision was. And that thing did something to me. There was an intrinsic motivation to drive and run with this new MD's target or plan. And we were able to achieve it within that period, just like he planned he would do. So my point, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that the first thing we want to drive home is the vision and the mission. Vision is where we are going to. Mission, how we want to get there. Everybody must be able to say it by heart. The second thing is your product knowledge. Product or services knowledge training. In-depth knowledge of the products is a must. In-depth knowledge of the products. If they don't know the products, they can't sell it. And there is no such thing as we want to take product knowledge gradually, or people will learn it gradually over time. Ladies and gentlemen, there's something very bad happening in the sales industry. I tell you, it's not good at all. And the thing is, I go into organizations, I see people who have been in sales for 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, different levels. They all say the same thing. Do you know your product 100%? They say, no, sir. Why? We are learning this gradually. As we are going along, we are understanding the products better and better. And I'm like, There must be a day when you graduate from school. You can't be in school forever. You can't be in secondary school forever or university forever. There must be a day you finish your undergraduate or you finish your master's or your PhD. It has an end. Because it has an end, you must approach product knowledge like there is an end as well. Knowledge always has an end. I'm not telling you we don't keep learning, but at least at a level. When you finish your master's, you probably go for PhD. When you finish product knowledge, you look at industry knowledge. Industry knowledge, because the industries are ever evolving, it can take a long time to master that. But product knowledge, most times, it can't evolve too far. You must drive it home. And there are two ways to drive it home. Number one, role playing to drive home product knowledge. Number two, written assessments. Don't teach product knowledge just from the front of the class. And you now say, we've taught you the product, do you understand? They say, yes. Any questions? No questions. Then you walk out and you see you've done product knowledge training. It's like somebody it's like somebody wanting to teach medicine and you taught them about the body parts, how to do surgery. And you say, have you all learned how to do surgery? Say, yes. Is it clear right now? You now know how to cut a person and give injections? I'm just a doctor. He says, yes, all right. So you can now go and start with operations, start to practice in public. It's not possible. They write exams because exams are the proof that you have learned. If you can recall the information, it's proof that you have learned. If you can apply the knowledge in situations, it's proof that you've learned. So role plays, so that they can look at, in a situational basis, they can apply the product or service. Oh, you met a client in this location, this was his problem, or these were the needs that the client had, which of our products would suit that need, they should be able to match it. These are the features of the product, they should be able to list them and be able to talk about the benefits. These are things that are key for you to be able to get people to start an effective onboarding program to sell successfully. I'll continue in the next video. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Please, if this video bless you, learn something from it, comment for me below what's got your attention the most. And please share with others so you know you need to listen to this or watch this so that your organization, your teams can get stronger and stronger and start to sell at a much higher level. Thanks so much for watching. Please watch the next video here to be a great blessing to you. See you in the next video.